Hey everybody, Dr. Sanderson here. Welcome to Unit 5, where we're going to be talking about my personal favorite social media platform, and that's Twitter. So, as you go through the chapter in the book and you look at some of the readings on Twitter, Twitter has become a very viable place to get information. And I think part of that is because it's designed for short information. I mean, you can only type 140 characters. You can't go on a rant like we sometimes see people do on Facebook. And that's really Twitter is really becoming prominent right now. If you look at some of the protests and different things that are going on around the country, in terms of it mobilizing people and being a way for people to find out what's going on. So, Twitter is really valuable in the sense that it's a great way to connect people. And Vaynerchuk talks about that in terms of organizations. That Twitter is really this robust place where organizations can connect with their audiences. Um, and yet, despite that, we don't see a lot of organizations doing that. So, a lot of organizations are not listening to what people are saying on Twitter and so forth. So, um, as you go throughout the chapter and the resources, just be thinking about that kind of concept of listening and how important that is, because people will. That's what Twitter's about. I mean, people are sharing information, they're providing feedback. And as we talked about in the Facebook unit, it's so important for organizations to get to know their community. And one way you get to know community is by listening to what people are saying and seeing what they're talking about. And Twitter really lends itself very well to that. As many of you probably know, Twitter has become a very robust place for customer service. So we don't really, I mean, people still do call 800 numbers, but we don't really see a lot of people, um, you know, doing that anymore. I mean, they go to Twitter and they'll tag the organization. And there are organizations who are more receptive to that than others, and that'll be something that's talked about in the unit. But one thing to kind of keep in mind there is that when you don't respond, you're letting negative messages about your company or your organization dominate. That's what the conversation is. It's all negative. So if you as an organization or brand don't get in there and intervene, then it's very hard to shift the conversation back to a more positive or preferable perspective for the organization. So, um, I think Twitter, something else that we'll look at is that while it does have these benefits, it's kind of it's lost some of its luster a little bit. Snapchat actually just passed it in terms of the total number of daily users. And even there's a video from Vaynerchuk talking about some concerns with Twitter not being really receptive to its user base. So just kind of be thinking about some sustainability with Twitter as well. And then lastly, while we've seen hashtags migrate to other platforms, that's been kind of a unique calling card of Twitter is the hashtags and the trends. And the chapter and the unit materials will talk about that, but that's a great way for organizations to develop compelling content, to go see what's trending, see what hashtags people are talking about, and then use that in ways that are both consistent with the organization's identity and voice, but then which are also seamless. They don't seem like the organization's really trying to stretch with the hashtag. So in other words, the hashtag needs to really make sense for who the organization is. And in the back of the book, just like with Facebook, Vaynerchuk goes through multiple examples of companies that did things well on Twitter and that did not do things good on Twitter. For the discussion forum in this unit, what I want you to do is really focus on that engagement piece or that interaction and response piece. Because if Twitter is this great way to connect organizations to people, then how are organizations doing with that? And so, what I'd like you to do is pick an organization of your choice and then go to their Twitter account. And for the last 7 to 10 days or so, just get a sense for how they are responding to the audience. Are they responding a lot? Are they not responding at all? What kind of things are they responding to? And then how are they responding? Are they doing it in kind of contrived, static ways? Are they showing personality? Is it personalized? And get that human element that's there. And then I'd like you to also make recommendations. So what could they do better, or what could we learn from how this organization is or is not responding on Twitter? And I'd like you to include an example, so a URL or a screenshot to support the claims that you're making. So same deadlines there, Thursday for the initial post and then Sunday for the 2 response posts. And then just lastly, remember that in the next unit, Unit 6, your industry interview will be coming due. So if you haven't already found someone to interview, you really, really need to do that and make arrangements with them. And then you'll submit the interview in Unit 6. So please let me know if you have any questions about that, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.